Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video we'll be learning how I made this beautiful Bubu dress with this tassel. So if you're new to this channel, don't forget to like, subscribe and drop a beautiful comment. So let's start. So these are the fabric I'll be using. I'll just need about 2 yards of Ankara fabric and about 1.5 yards of black crepe and tassels with my tape and chalk. So those are the basic things we'll be needing for this video. Okay, so the next thing I've gone ahead to do is to cut out the width of my gown and the back length. I cut out exactly this length I want. So for the width, you could do your hip round divided by 4 and add extra 5 inches to it for the width, and for the length you measure your actual length where you want the gown to stop. So that is what I did. So I don't know if you notice here, for the back the length is actually my actual gown length, and for the front, which is the short part that is under here, the length I just like had to make it a bit short, so you could like use your half length and maybe add extra 5 inches to it. The reason why I did not cut it out full was because of there will be a black crepe to make it up in the front, so that was what I did. So like I said, for your, it depends on how full you want your width to be. You could actually go your hip round divided by 4, add extra 5 inches or 4 inches. So for the neck width, I'll be marking 3 inches for my neck width, and I'll be coming down by 1.5 inches for the back neck depth. And after doing that, I will just want to go ahead to use my pattern ruler to connect it. So for the neck width, I set 3 inches for the neck width, and I'll be coming down by 1.5 inches for the back neck depth. So for the front neck depth, I'll also go ahead to mark it here. For my front neck depth, I'll be doing 6 inches. You could actually do 6 to 7 inches, depends on how deep you want it to be, but 6 to 7 inches is fine so that your cleavage don't get to show. So I just want to go ahead now and mark it out, and for both sides I will just get my scissors to cut out for both the back and the front neck. Sorry, I'll just go ahead to cut out the back neck. So before that, I'll just want to come down and mark my shoulder slant. For shoulder slant, I'll be going down by 2 inches for shoulder slant, and I want to use my pattern ruler to connect it. So please don't use this pattern ruler to do yours. You should use the straight pattern ruler to connect your shoulder slant so that you can get actually what you want. So the next thing after here is going to be our sleeve length. So for the sleeve width, you could actually do 11 to 12 inches, but I think 11 would be perfect for you. So like, depends on how open you want it, but 11 to 5 inches is okay. I'm sorry, 11 to 12 inches is okay, and I came in by 1.5 inches. So you could actually do 1 or 2. So you just go and mark it down after coming in like that. So 1 or 1.5 is actually fine here, and I will actually want to go ahead to cut this. So I would just want to note say that because of like I did not like make my gown that full, my sleeve was not that long. So if you want yours to be long, you could actually make your width to be bigger, or alternatively at this point after cutting out, you could cut out something like maybe a band and sew to this part so that your sleeve length will be longer than what I actually have here. So I'm just going to go ahead right now, cut this out, and don't forget that our front is actually shorter, and the reason why our front is shorter is because of the black crepe we'll be adding to it. So I'll just be explaining how I'll go ahead about that. Okay, so I've gone ahead to separate the front, and I noticed that I mistakenly marked for my front neck depth on the back. So if you are cutting, not to make the same mistake, you can actually go ahead to place the front on the back width, and so that when you are separating it, you have your marked distance on the front. So I just went ahead to remark my neck depth, and I think I changed the depth measurement I had done earlier. I went ahead to mark it, and I just want to go ahead to use my scissors to cut that out now. So this is my front part, and next thing I want to just do now is to go ahead from the midpoint to mark 6.5 down. You could actually mark how you want it to, how deep you want it to be, and I'll actually measure the half length, or like how many inches I want it to be. It's actually on preference. You could measure what you want, and I'll just go ahead to use my pattern ruler to connect the edge to the 6.5 that I mark. And after this, so this up part is actually ready. So for this up part, is actually based on preference. You could make yours go up a bit more or make it come down more. Is that preference depends on how deep you want it to be. And after this now, the next thing we want to go ahead to do is to cut out the black crepe. So this is what I have after cutting it out. Uh, so to get this black part, I felt like I performed magic, and every part like was needed. So this part, I kept it safe because I had wanted to use it to like perform my magic. So I thought, let me just take you through the process. I went to the back and I measured the length of what I had. So after measuring the length, I would just watch what I did. So for me, I don't know. I made my gown actually very long. So I think this length was about 60 something. So I would wanted that after folding and everything, I wanted the length to maybe just come to 60. So after measuring the length, I also came to this front part, had it on fold, and also went ahead to measure the length of what I have here. So I just wanted all of this as a guide. So just take note, I measured the length of the back, the full length of the back, and the half length of the front that we had. I had gone ahead to also measure it. So the what I just wanted to do was that this remaining part now, which is also part of the front that we cut out, I'll place it on this black, just as you can see here, and the difference between the front and the back measurements, I will just use it to update it on this black rep, and also go ahead to add half inches for joining allowance on the top part. And that was that. So that was what I did. So I just came here, added it up here. So since this part is also part of the front, this one that we have here, it's part of the front that we actually had cut out, so I kept it. Then I will now go ahead here and measure the difference. That is, let's say the front, if we had 22 in the front for the remaining part of the front, and I had 60 at the back, for 62 for my back line. So I will minus that 22 from the 60. So whatever I have is what I'll be marking as my full length here. So while doing this, I'll also advise you add extra maybe 2 to 3 inches in case of any shortage. So the next thing you just want to do is to use your pin to hold it so that it can be stable. So like I said, the difference of what we had, I just went ahead to mark it out here. Ensure that you mark it out, then just try to add 2 or 3 inches, or let me just say 3 inches to what you have, so that in case of any shortage, so you don't like fall short. I was just trying to manage fabric though. Then after this, then at the up part, I went ahead to add about half inches for the joining allowance. So you just go ahead at this top part and add about half inches for folding allowance. And I noticed some excesses here, so I just wanted to go ahead to cut it out. And the next thing we want to do now is to join this part. So this other part, we don't need it again. It has finished its course. So this is what I will have now. I was just trying to see what it should look like. I also went ahead to add my tassels to it to see what it would look like after sewing. So next we want to do now is to go to join these parts in our sewing machine. So the joining of these parts could actually be very tricky, and if you not want that sharp edge to look funny when sewing it, so you just want to go ahead, place it this way, and I would advise you to actually use a pin to hold it so that it does not shake. So from this other part there, you bring out about half inches. You don't just go ahead. So I just try to bring this close with my camera to show you. Go ahead to bring out about half inches, and after bringing out half inches, you just follow that part to sew so that that sharp part you could actually get it. So I would advise you use a pin to hold it before sewing. I actually felt there was a need for me to show you the sewing on my sewing machine. So I don't know if you could see I use my pin there, and while I've had it firm on my sewing machine, I just went to loosen it. And I'll just go ahead. It's just that part that is actually necessary. So when you just hold it there, then you just go ahead to sew by half inches round. So you sew for the left side and you go ahead to sew for the right side. So that is that. Okay, so the next thing I've gone ahead to do now is to cut my front facing, and I will want to be joining the front facing. So when you cut out your front facing, you should actually fold the edges. So I've gone ahead to sew my front facing here by half inches round, and I want to use my scissors to notch and turn it out. So after the front facing, the next thing we want to do now is to go ahead also to cut our back facing and join our back facing, and after that which we want to join the shoulders together. Okay, so I've also gone ahead to cut out my back facing, and I also want to go ahead to sew it on my sewing machine by half inches and also go ahead to sew round. So after this, we've sewn the front facing and the back facing. I've gone ahead to notch my back facing, ensure to do this so that it can lay flat. And please, after doing this, just try to iron it. So don't be like me that didn't iron actually. So after the next thing I would just want to do now is to join the shoulders together. And for the shoulders, I would just want to go ahead to join by half inches on both sides. At this point, the gown is almost ready. And for this gown, I did not add pockets. So if you'd like to add pockets, there is a Bubu gown video I made on this channel. You could actually go to it. I'll post the link in the description, and you could watch how to add pockets from the video. So we are done with joining the up part and the shoulder part, and the next thing I want to do now is to double fold my armhole. So if you actually wanted to add a band to your armhole, you could actually do that here, and if you're not adding, then this is an alternative for you to fold it. Then after folding this, the next thing we'll do now is to join the sides by half inches or 1 inch, it depends on your allowance. And so this is the next thing we'll be doing now, is to sew our tassels to it. So I'll be explaining how I went about for this. So for these tassels, I was gonna have to spread it round. I actually got 5, but one was missing, so I left the middle part. So you just want to go ahead to spread it on how, I don't know, my hand was actually blocking, but after spreading, then the next thing you just want to do is to use your needle and sew it and ensure it is sewn firm. Ensure you spread it equally, then use your needle to sew it firm, and after sewing firm, your gown is ready. So don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and drop a beautiful comment. So after sewing this part, I just want to repeat this same process for others. So thank you for watching.